Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the invisible threads that tie the health of our planet directly to the health of our own bodies. I know, it sounds a little out there, doesn't it? But what science is uncovering is that from the tiniest microbes in the soil to the cells lining our gut, there are these powerful, hidden conversations happening all the time. So today, we're going to listen in. And we're going to start right where our health really begins, in the dirt. We are learning some truly mind-bending ways to grow our food better, and honestly, the results are just amazing. Let's just kick things off with a huge number, 319%. What on earth could this be referring to? It's not profit, it's not some kind of market growth, it's something way more fundamental. Yep, you heard that right. A fantastic study from Suleiman and his colleagues in PLOS One found that by simply reintroducing the right native bacteria to struggling desert soil, plants could suck up 319% more nitrogen. This is a massive deal. It shows that the life in the soil, the microbiome, can be way more powerful than the bags of fertilizer we just dump on it. And check this out. It shows how a tiny change in the environment can make a world of difference in quality. A study by Ella Crush and colleagues discovered that basil grown in nutrient-rich water from a trout farm, and listen to this, with no extra fertilizer, produced 4 times the amount of estragol. That's the chemical compound that gives basil that amazing peppery kick. So the big takeaway here is that a little bit of the right kind of stress can actually make our food way more flavorful and even more resilient. And believe it or not, it gets even stranger. Scientists are now playing with high-frequency sounds as a kind of acoustic fertilizer. The vibrations literally change how the roots grow and encourage them to call in beneficial microbes from the soil. So the crucial point is this: smarter farming isn't always about adding more stuff. Sometimes it's about adding the right invisible signals. Okay, so let's move from the farm to the factory and the lab. This section gets into the fascinating gap between what we think we know about food and the incredible precision of modern science, while also, uncovering some of the hidden dangers we've accidentally created along the way. You gotta see this. As we're all looking for more sustainable food sources, like proteins made from fungi, it turns out most of us don't really know what fungi even are. A recent survey of over 6,000 people found that a clear majority, 60%, mistakenly believe that fungi are a type of plant. So, just to set the record straight, they are not. Fungi, which includes everything from the mushrooms on your pizza to the microprotein in some alternative meats, they belong to their very own biological kingdom. And this gap in public knowledge is actually a huge hurdle for innovation in sustainable food. Now, while the public might be a little fuzzy on basic biology, just look at the kind of precision scientists are working with, 1.27%. That number represents an absolutely incredible level of accuracy. That is the tiny margin of error for a new computer model that's designed to make flour milling more energy efficient. So on one hand, we're collectively confused about what a mushroom is, and on the other, we are modeling the shattering of a single grain of wheat with near-perfect accuracy to save energy. It's a pretty wild contrast when you think about it. But, of course, our industrial progress has a dark side. A study from Chen and colleagues published in Cardiorenal Medicine highlights how invisible pollutants in our environment, things like long-lasting industrial chemicals known as PCBs and dioxins, have a real, measurable impact. Just being exposed can increase our risk for this complex web of diseases that affect our heart, our kidneys, and our metabolism. So, let's bring this whole story inside the human body. Because just like we saw in farming, our bodies sometimes respond to things like diets and diseases in ways we would just never expect. So take the super popular keto diet. For a small number of people, the state of ketosis that comes with rapid weight loss can trigger this rare but intensely itchy inflammatory rash. It's a really powerful reminder that any major metabolic shift in your body can have some surprising and totally unintended consequences. And what about diseases we thought we had all figured out? Well, new research is showing that in celiac disease, our own intestinal cells aren't just passive victims sitting there getting attacked. They actually play an active role. First, they release an enzyme that modifies gluten, basically making it more aggravating. Then, they literally hand-deliver that gluten straight to the immune cells, kicking off the whole autoimmune attack. This just brilliantly illustrates a whole new target for potential treatments. And get this, our body's overall state completely changes the rules of the game. A study from Zhu and colleagues shows that the warning signs for chronic kidney disease are totally different depending on your blood pressure. For someone with high blood pressure, the big red flag is elevated triglycerides. But for someone with normal blood pressure, the key things to watch are blood sugar and magnesium levels. It's a perfect example that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to our health risks. All right, for this last section, we're going to look at some fascinating preclinical research. Now, it's really important to remember these are animal studies, so we should think of them as clues, not definite conclusions for people. But they are hinting at some incredibly powerful connections. Look at this metabolic journey. In a mouse study, a high-fat diet caused symptoms of hypothyroidism in just 3 weeks. But here is the amazing part. When the mice lost the weight, their thyroid function went completely back to normal, a full reversal. This suggests a direct and maybe even reversible link between overnutrition and thyroid health. And other animal studies are just as revealing. Messing with a mouse's sleep cycle made fatty liver disease worse, and it did so specifically by wiping out a key beneficial gut microbe. And in another study, short-term dietary restriction acted like a shield for the bone marrow of older mice, protecting it from the harsh side effects of chemotherapy. These are really powerful clues about how diet and lifestyle could one day be used to make medicine safer and a lot more effective. So from the sound waves that help roots grow to the gut bacteria that respond to our sleep, it's all connected. The world inside of us and the world around us are in this constant, complex conversation. The real question is, as we get better and better at decoding that language, how are we going to choose to change the conversation for the better?